We now return to Let's Play Vermintide. Alright, so I've gone and leveled up a bit. I've played a few more missions, trying to get a few more things. I have now grabbed myself a Templar axe, which, compared to the rapier, does just a little bit more damage, but it is much slower. And it definitely doesn't have the sweeping, so I don't know how I'm going to enjoy that. But the headshots may help me against storm vermin, like that. And that's about all I've got for the Templar, who I will be playing as next, Witch Hunter. Otherwise, I managed to get myself more swords that are actually worse than the sword and dagger for the elf. I haven't upgraded the elf. Haven't really found anything new for the dwarf or the mage. I am really tempted to just go ahead and try and put something together right now, see if I can't get myself a better staff. Maybe I'll go ahead and do that. Because what would it actually cost me just to do 3? Where are we at here? Still cost me 60. That's still way too expensive. And even if I wanted to throw something worthless in, like, really? I can't throw that in? Probably because it's already green? I think that's it. Put in a Zweihander. Recurve crossbow was worse. I mean, I'm not really prepared to do any of this. Just because, what if I don't get a staff? Then it's kind of a waste. I'll worry about that later. Anyway, one thing I did manage to do was complete this key quest. It does work for just collecting one at a time. It just adds to the tally, so that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and turn that in, I suppose. And now I have increased strength for the duration of this next mission. Opal upgrade token, what? Huh? I'm not sure what mission this is. 1 mission complete. So I have 14 hours to complete just the Cursed Rune, I guess, is what the mission is. I don't know if that's the next one. Anyway, I'm glad to see these finally refreshed, because they were empty for a while. I don't know if that might not have been a bad thing to choose instead of this, because I've taken 6 of these. But so you can only take 1 of these at a time. Heading towards the epics. What is this? Reichwald Forest on easy or above. I can totally do that. But I won't be doing that for this series. Nightmare above, supply and demand. River Reich easy or above. I gotta find a grimoire. I have yet to find a grimoire in any of the missions. I've found tomes. They are apparently the same thing. The difference is... There's a difference. I don't remember. Anyway, okay. So, for the next 2 hours, I will have increased strength, which will hopefully be very helpful for the final mission of the main campaign. We are on... Well, what hasn't been done yet, it looks like. Okay, enemy below, went to Well Watch, went to Waterfront, which to...
One way or another, this
White Rat.
Tonight.
Alright, so the White Rat, Horned Rat... Oh, speaking of Horned Rat, I just noticed that there is a Grey Seer skull on the wall for the first time ever. Apparently this is something else. According to the wiki, you can unlock things for the tavern through this, which is kind of cool, I guess, but won't be doing that right now. Anyway, the White Rat. Let's give this a shot. Bookend this with the Witch Hunter. See if this axe improves anything.
But I reckon we got a chance at ending this. This whole Vermintide takes its orders from a Skaven Grey Seer, and we know where he is. If you can kill him, you might just save Ubersreik. Watch yourselves, though. A grey seer's no pushover, and beware the strike of his bell.
I feel like this might be the actual boss battle of the game. Which could be annoying. Alright. The moon is closer. There's the comet coming in as well. I didn't notice this at first, but you can actually see that in the sky in the first mission. Probably in all the others too, I haven't seen. So if you don't know, in the end times storyline, the reason the moon is so big is because it is literally coming towards the planet. The Skaven are actually trying to crash the moon into the world. What's this? It's a back way through somewhere. That's pointless. What the hell?
The moon is cursed! Could this be the rat men's work? The hour of truth is here.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Come on.
An audience for my bell.
Okay.
Come to your doom.
Where's...
Just say them festa, kid. Only then will I give some joy.
The false moon gives them courage.
Okay, there's gotta be a way down, right?
Tide comes and finds me ready.
Come, surface. To doom awaits.
Ready your weapons. This won't be easy. Clanking again. Rattling gun.
Already, huh?
Another century might make it worse.
Yes, beard! The tide of them!
Trying to kill them all, one eye.
Where?
Aim for its head! You hit it
Gotcha.
hard.
Oh, I gotta say, it is a one-hit weapon. I do enjoy that. I mean, at least on the small guys. Oof. She's getting a little overwhelmed, I see.
I won't die.
Watch those blows!
Just rats down.
His swinging is very slow, which is... Alright, the elf is in trouble. We gotta keep her protected.
Can't remain down here. Find a way out. Thereabout, I can smell them.
Alright, let's keep going.
Through the door!
I missed that.
Backstabbers about! This assassin's dead. What for others?
Man, we are actually all pretty bad right now. All right. Man.
Your futile efforts entertain me.
Come on, through this door!
I mean, make sure you grab all the gear.
I'll give you a moment to even the score.
Probably gonna need to do this myself, actually.
Holy Sigma, bless this ravaged body.
I do not like, however, the axe's short reach. I keep swinging when I think I'm gonna hit, and I definitely don't. The swords definitely have a further strike reach. Be grabbing that. I'm tempted to just peek out here real quick.
A dead end. Let us hope there's a way around.
Alright.
The Packmaster Fiend. Ah, right in the gauntlets. You hit the armor. Aim for the head, dwarf.
Okay, it's not a one-hit strike for the head. I'm disappointed by that. Pick up a barrel.
Drop that pillar. Take that seer down.
Where's it going?
Imagine what you can do with 2 eyes.
I'm a threat.
All right.
All given up?
How I'm freaking expected to be over here, I don't know, but
I'll kill everyone.
Beware the hook!
Got a strangler.
my God.
Take care! The chamber is coming apart!
What does that mean? Does that mean that it's going to be harder to get to certain places? Oh, you fucking piece of shit.
A child of Sagaraki. If only Okri could see me.
Where's the mage when you need her? Jesus. Actually... Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. You piece of shit. Even with the strength bonus, my Christ, what the hell? That's actually what pisses me off, that we aren't able to kill a storm vermin in one shot.
They think Uber's full down. There's a Bombardier nearby. A vial substantially exceeding this firepower. A rocket gun is close.
guess I need to be using the bombs more because...
You use your weapon. I do not go willingly to Mars in flesh.
Your willpower is failing you, Saltspire.
For the order. Cheers.
The Vermintide well. Their stench does not.
The flail on this is wild, and I do not care for it. I have to say, Jesus. The precision with the sword and all that is far better. That's one pillared support. How many are we gonna have? Probably a lot.
Fine shot. Undoubtedly.
Healing draft. Okay, cool.
Almost no power, not fit to smell my musk.
I smell some ammunition.
Get your ammo up.
Rattling gun. I'm in the gunner's sight. Take him out.
That's enough of that.
The chains. Smash the chains and end this.
There's a global deer.
Oh, fuck me. That's not what I meant to hit at all. I was trying to hit the fucking grenade. Well, I think we're dead. Nothing I can do about it. Anyone? We got one hanging off. We got one down there. Alright, well. Nope. Jesus Christ. This is easy? It'd be one thing if I could... You know what? Let's... Fuck it. Forget the witch hunter. Although I feel like if I go for the mage, I'm gonna get myself killed. So let's just keep at it for a minute. You know what, though? Before we do this... Go back to this? And it does so much less damage, but... It does a lot less damage.
One.
Game definitely scaled up thinking I'm stronger than I
It cost
am.
me dearly, but I reckon we got a chance at ending this. This whole Vermintide takes its orders from a Skaven grey seer, and we know where he is. If you can kill him, you might just save Ubersreik. Watch yourselves, though. A grey seer's no pushover, and beware the strike of his bell.
I do think that the witch hunter is a liability in this situation. Because picking one of any of the other characters will get you probably the mage put in. The wizard would be a far better choice. We'll see if I can do it this way. If I can't, we'll just swap out. Alright.
In Sigmar's name, I will end this heresy.
Lorna's correct. Killing the rat mage will put the others to flight.
Enough talk. Now is the time for holy retribution. Do not trust in hope, it will betray you. Only faith and hatred sustain.
People, come on!
By the hammer and the bell, you shall not fail me.
Fuck.
Medical supplies here.
Grab your shit. Let's go. Oh, fuck. What the...
An audience for my bell. Welcome to your doom. Kill, slay, and fester, kid. Only then will I give some joy.
Come on.
Lilia, watch over us.
Back. Back.
All cruelties are equal. Even
I wonder if I can destroy those crystals now that I think about it. No.
has a certain charm.
Alright, let's keep going.
You kill him like you're possessed, sir. Stay out of his sight.
Stay out of whose sight? Fuck me, would you guys just get together?
There must be some way up.
Follow me.
I definitely think that I've probably been, getting myself under that lightning too much. I was hoping those would be bombs again. Far more useful.
Come on, through this door. I've got a shield. I'll get their attention.
You're hitting the armor.
Look out! Cooperatively. Right in the donglets.
God damn.
Give me a moment.
Alright, let's go. Yeah, okay, but before we do, is there ammo out here this time?
Ah, praise the comet. Ammunition.
Just a moment.
Healing. I need one of those too, thanks. Alright. So I gotta start recognizing the sound for when those lightning blasts go off.
I can smell them.
Topple the pillar. That'll silence the rat bastard. Oh.
Pick it up, let's go. Fuck, what is hitting me now?
Gringy, you're scared something.
Holy fucking shit! Who picked... Did that destroy its... God damn it! The game is fucking hard enough without having to redo this stupid barrel shit.
Rattling gun. It's an assassin.
Iraqi dead and done. Get clear. Now you call it. Aim for the skull instead.
Where the hell is it?
I'm loving this.
He says I'm lobbing this, but it sounds like I'm loving this. Which is, I feel, highly appropriate for his character.
Call it a better shot, lads.
Aim for the head, Blazer. Aim for the head.
It'd be easier to listen. It probably doesn't sound like this in the speakers, but in the headset, in headphones, the sound, the directional cues and all that are like everywhere. Oh, fuck. Thought about missed. they're not precise. So when you hear a rat or a pitter-patter or whatever coming round, it's not actually necessarily where it's actually coming from. It just sounds like it's somewhere behind me. Doing the classic oh fuck, I thought classic go off on my own deal, and that's probably not how you should be doing this. That's not the way up.
Healing draft?
Yes, actually.
A few seconds or so.
Did not even make a dent! So laughable! So unworthy!
Up. Okay, lots of good lore anyway. Alright. This time, if a rat ogre is triggered here, let us not put in a potion.
Chains and we'll have our victory.
Ooh, hey.
Like the like hammers. Look out!
Okay, where is it? That's not the one. There is Rat Ogre. Rat Ogre. Rat Ogre. That is definitely not what I need right now. It's not switching. Ah, fuck. Did we get him? Finally? No?
One less monster in the world.
One monster to kill another one.
Alright. That's not what I had meant to hit. God damn it.
I can hear them.
Okay, people. Did that really just run up to be cut by me? I mean, I'm okay with that. Alright. Come on, we got this. Let's go this way. As long as I don't get caught on things, we might actually do this. Good Lord, get over here and stop fighting on your own.
That's another sneaker dead.
Alright. Ah. Really just more aggravating than anything right now.
Hey, marksman, eh?
I can just see someone getting stuck on that ledge. Alright, we got that. Now what?
With their leaders slain, the treacherous Skaven tore one another apart in a bid to take his place, or else fled in search of easier pickings. At last, the survivors of Ubersreik emerged to reclaim their shattered home. This was a victory, but no one had the strength to celebrate. Clanfester's assault was but a taste, a foreshadowing of what was to come. The battle for Ubersreik had been won, but the war had barely begun. The fires of Ubersreik were a signal. As the city burned, the borders of the Empire came under siege from Skaven, from the Chaos Warriors of the North, and from the living dead. These are the end times.
There's just a lot of wild flailing there at the end, but we did it. Describing the end of that invasion made me feel like he was talking about orcs. Level 9, another worthless bow. Oh, good. Almost. Who is this for? The handgun. Looks like a single shot. Guess we'll find out. Well, I don't feel I did particularly well, although damage dealt. Look at that. It must have been all the bombs I was tossing. Good grief. It's like 3 times as much. Okay. So let's go back and look at this map, because it said that it unlocked Act 4?
Up and about, eh? Come on down, will ya?
So we go to Ubersreik, and there's now Waylaid. But that's on our way out, I would imagine. On our way out to one of these. Alright, so that was, I don't know what that's all about. That was the main campaign. I'm imagining this must be the first one on the way out. There are, of course, other
There's a new way to wage
things.
this war when you are ready.
I don't know if, really, you can't.
Schlüsselschloss is
You can only
about
play
to
this on
fall
veteran.
unless someone makes a stand.
That's very interesting. Yeah, no, we don't want to be doing this. Go back to adventure. So I don't know if those 2 last stand modes actually count towards the next 13 that are available in the DLC or what. But obviously the rest of the game continues on. Kind of interested to see these ones. Why is this all zoned out? I don't actually know what the next one... Well, I mean, obviously it must be Waylaid would be the next one, be the first one that takes us out, presumably somewhere else along the story. But the defense of Ubersreik was the first main campaign. Now, I do know that Vermintide 2 has Beastmen, and therefore presumably Chaos, and adds more to, probably not Ubersreik, but probably more to the end times and the sieges and all that. So I can imagine that the story does progress, despite the fact that the developers are not the same between the 2 games. So yeah, we're not going to continue playing on for this series, but we successfully completed the first 13 Nights of Halloween Let's Play. I mean, I've only been Let's Playing for 8 years, you know, it's like, this is probably not going to be a new tradition, but we'll see. So yeah, overall I enjoyed the game. There are things that I have complained about throughout. Oh, I think this is a new thing. This must be for completing the campaign, and then the other. That's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. Yeah, so there are things that definitely could have been added to make this just a little bit better of a game. The game definitely does not reward single player. I do not believe that I personally am capable of the higher difficulties with bots, especially since the AI tends to take the strategy of clumping up around me, which is fine, except that when half the missions are objective missions, and you can't say, okay, you go over there, when I have to be the one carrying all the barrels or doing whatever the mission stated, that really limits what I can do. And then if all the AI is doing is basically just following me around, I mean, there were many times when the AI just got bogged down because it decided to just stand there and fight rather than run. With the team of humans, we could all run to a choke point, turn back around, and face the swarm that was following us, or clump them all together for a grenade, or something like that. You lose a lot of tactical options playing single player, which is kind of disappointing. I feel that the AI does not scale with difficulty either. The maps definitely do. But the AI does not get smarter as you go on, which is disappointing just a bit. And I realize that you're probably not meant to play the game with bots. The bots are there to fill in when you don't have a player to play with. You can just play with random people, but, the multiplayer thing has never been my deal, and I feel like even then you are better off with an experience of people who play together. Especially if you've got the ability to talk to each other or whatever. I mean, that will allow for probably a richer experience than just going through. The game, for me, I don't play a lot of first-person shooters, and that was kind of reflected in the viewership, which is actually kind of disappointing, because it is a pretty decent game, but obviously this is not the audience for this kind of game. But so for me, what I enjoy about this kind of game, that was open on its own. No, it's not. Fuck. Was just it's very cathartic to just wade through hordes of enemies and swing and just, I mean, that's actually really enjoyable. But throwing in the objectives, it gets really, really bogged down on the higher difficulties just because it just throws so much at you that it's almost not worth it, in my opinion. I mean, you should have mob missions where you're just going through, slaughtering, and then you should have slightly less crammed objective missions just for the sake of it. I mean, I guess it is a strategy that I kind of got to late with the barrel thing, that you don't just grab one and try and run to the end zone, You basically have to drop it, kill, pick it up, go, and that bogs it down just a bit for me. But again, with a coordinated team, I feel like the experience would probably be different. It's a shame that you can't actually pick your team. Throwing in the bots there as a rando, I did not really appreciate, because I could have created a team appropriate for each of the missions. Basically, if I want one vital character, I'm going to have to pick that character and then go in. The Witch Hunter is the odd man out every time, so he is never a part of the team, basically, unless you choose him. Which, seeing his capabilities now, I feel like that's probably appropriate, because he's not actually that great. I mean, his abilities are taken up by the elf and the soldier, and with the amount of upgrades that I have received, the amount of equipment, the soldier's actually just better. in a lot of ways. I really don't see anything that the Witch Hunter brings to the table that is not fulfilled by the other 4 classes. I'm not even really sure why he's in the game, to be honest. Since you can only play with 4, there's always going to be one left out, and everyone else seems more useful anyway, you know? So that's kind of a downside to the game. Aside from the grind, I guess that's kind of the disappointment that I felt for the game overall, was that there's just too much reliance upon, oh, you're going to just play with your friends forever and ever. Like, the team took the Warhammer universe, which is awesome. I think they did a great job of portraying the Warhammer Fantasy universe and the buildings and all this stuff. It looks really cool, and just like the over-the-top, huge, spiraling everything, and the horn that came from God knows what on top of the tower. Like, what the hell is big enough to make that horn? But, you know, so they got the aesthetic right, and then they just decided, well, everyone loved Left 4 Dead, so we're just going to throw that together. I don't know that there was weapon crafting and whatnot in there. I feel that's a definite thing that they tried to add to this. But gameplay, the core gameplay mechanics, I feel are what really needed the focus to make it different. And combat, for one, should have been a place where that was focused on. You know, I have 3 buttons on my mouse. I realize that if you're playing on a laptop, you probably don't, but why would you be playing this game on a laptop? It takes up like 50 gigabytes. It's a huge game. And this, I mean, the graphical settings, I don't feel like a laptop could handle it anyway. But so, like, there's three buttons on a mouse, and the middle one does nothing. I'm pretty sure I saw in the settings that you can have it, and that it's set to something, but I don't appear to have that ability. So for me, I feel like combat would have been vastly improved if I'd had basic attack and then heavy attack. And maybe that's just me coming from playing hours and hours and hours and hours of Conan Exiles, because you do have that combo of short attacks versus heavy attacks. But I feel like that would definitely have helped in melee, because there are some weapons where being able to just do a sweep strike really would come in handy, or in particular, you know, being able to conk something on the head for those storm vermin, rather than doing the charged attack thing. I mean, this right here, you know, you're able to do sort of the hack and slash thing, but doing a charge with this same button should be a charged swoop across, and then you should have the middle button that does the overhead strike, and then hold the middle button and it does a charge. You know, just adding a few more attacks, adding a little bit more variety to what you can do, I feel like would have helped just a bit. So, okay, that's just rapid strike then. I guess that's all that's good for. That is kind of a cool thing, though. I have absolutely no accuracy whatsoever. So, I mean, you know, they did an okay job with the game. I just feel like they tried too much to bank off of what they felt was going to be the success of Left 4 Dead. They just decided that, oh, well, you know, we'll just get people to play the same game. I mean, it's not the same game, obviously. This game does have differences, but I feel like they could have gone a step more to make this its own great game. It's a pretty decent game. I actually do enjoy it, and I think a lot of people do enjoy it too. The reviews have been pretty good for this game. Not so much 2. The Vermintide 2 doesn't sound like it's too good, but you know, there are just a few things that I feel they could have done, and I suppose my criticisms come from single player. There's a few things they could have done to make single player a bit more enjoyable. Because, you know, the reliance upon bots thing really is a bit of a struggle sometimes. And the fact that there's a lot of mechanics that they have that just don't seem to be useful. I mean, maybe at higher difficulty settings, crouching and sneaking has a thing where you don't want to, you know, you want to skirt around a pack of rats or something like that. But for me, even on just normal difficulty, part of the fun of the game is just wading in and just killing everything. And two, the map design does not seem to be geared towards that sort of thing, because you have very linear paths. Granted, the rats are blind, absolutely blind. Like, I could be as close from here to the chest, and the rats don't see me all the time. It's kind of ridiculous, but there is at no point where I feel like, oh yeah, I want to sneak around that. You know, like the very first mission, for example, where there's that waterfront, and you come out, and you can have the option of going down and around to bypass like 2 rats, but why? You know, that there's at no point is there really anything that makes it seem like that would be a necessary thing to do. And because it's also, I finally got up here, because it's always so close that I don't feel like you could actually hide away. You know, in Left 4 Dead there were varieties of zombies, obviously, but the witch was one where you definitely didn't want to face it. You know, I mean, it was a difficult enemy. I did not see anything analogous to that in this game, which is fine because those are annoying, and the rat ogres are annoying enough as it is. You know, this game did its job of creating its own variety of rats, but at no point does crouching or being silent matter in any of those scenarios. And in fact, I can't really think of any map where you can get away with crouching, because you have to cross so many narrow paths or choke points or go through doors. Like, at any point, you are going to face all the rats there are. You can't sneak away from them. The only time I was able to sneak away from a rat was when it was up on the roof. And they just put them there, I guess, so you can build up your kill count. You know, going back to my earlier complaint about how I feel like the maps should have had diverging paths, I feel like maybe that would have been helpful towards that. There were a few instances in maps where you could go a different path, but it was in the same area, and there were few enough of them that it wasn't like, oh, well, I don't want to face all the rats in the plaza, so I'll sneak through this house. If you could have sneaked through every house, that would have been one thing. That would have been really cool. You know, sneaking through a door here, going up, jumping on the roof, bypassing it. Even that would have been enough to make the maps a little bit more interesting. As it is, the maps were pretty similar. I mean, as far as just wandering in a straight line, again, and maybe a path that goes off that way, but then just goes around a building and comes out in the same way. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's not really a valid complaint, given that there is actually a pretty good variety in mission types, or at least in the feel of the mission. At least, you know, they did a pretty decent job of that, where you're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that in each mission, and you know, that's kind of fun, kind of cool. There are hidden areas throughout. But they don't really go anywhere. They're usually just holes or cellars that have maybe an item in them. So, you know, I don't know. I did enjoy the game. I just feel I could have enjoyed it more if they'd just gone one step above, which is a little bit disappointing. But I can't complain too much because the game was pretty darn cheap with everything in it. The developers did have a lot of DLC. Like the half of the DLC for the game was free, that they just added to it and came out. So that's pretty cool. That is actually pretty cool. I definitely feel like this game did a better job of portraying the Warhammer universe and fleshing out its world better than Man of War did. I wanted to like Man of War because it's a sailing trading type game at its heart, but I mean, even that game's mechanics are stiffer than this one. This game has pretty limited action, but Man of War is just infinitely worse for that. So it's cool. It's cool that Warhammer, at least Fantasy, seems to have pretty decent games. The Warhammer 40k licensed games tend to be pretty mediocre, but Anyway, I enjoyed myself. I hope you did too. I mean, the few of you that actually watched the game. There is, as I said, another 13 missions left in the game, thanks to the DLC and whatever. Again, I don't know if Endless counts as part of that 13. So maybe we'll just save those for the next Halloween. Maybe if we decide to do this again, unless I have something else. I did also buy the Space Hulk Deathwing. Which is a little bit more action-y than this, although I would say it's kind of hard to tell. Honestly, there were some points when it's just like, do the swarms ever end? But I don't know. So I've got options, and maybe we won't even have to wait another year. If there's actually people who want to see the rest of the game, I'll maybe jump back in. I'll probably play a little bit off camera, but probably not too much more. I feel like the incentive for doing this again and again and again just really isn't there. This board, as I said, should have been in the beginning, just because it provides a lot more incentive to be able to do this stuff. But protect all heroes from special Skaven. What does that mean? I don't know. So yeah, I'm definitely willing to come back to the game. But otherwise, I think we've pretty much done everything here. I have managed to get 27 out of 210, so I got about 10% of all the hidden pages. That last mission was pretty good for him, and I don't know, actually. I don't know if when I get it, if it unlocks it permanently, or if I lost the mission, if I have to go get it again. But, so there might actually be more than this that I did collect, and I just didn't get to keep. So, what I did unlock, not much. Part 1 of Franz's story here. I won't actually read through all this, I'll just go ahead and pause them. And it's unfortunate that it did not get everything else in here. Christoph Engel, why do I feel like he is a part of the universe? Like, I feel his name... Isn't he in the Gottrick and Felix stories? I feel like he is. That name sounds familiar. That is not what I wanted to do. Okay, so we'll come back out here. Go to the different Skaven that I managed to unlock. I got my Storm Vermin. These bastards. You know, they honestly seemed like the only vulnerability was in the head, which is pretty stupid. You know, doing enough damage should have been enough to kill it eventually. Did get quite a bit. Stupid sack rats. What else? The market square. Each and every one. The hill, the dwarf quarter. When do we get to that? The world, the nations. Unlocked a lot of nations. Oh my god. There's a ton of this stuff. Okay, you know what? I'm sure all this stuff is out there in a wiki or something. So I think I'll just, I'll end that here rather than waste the rest of the episode going off on that. There is a lot of lore to the Warhammer universe as it is anyway, and so if you're interested in this sort of thing, I would definitely recommend just going to the wiki anyway, the Warhammer wiki, not necessarily even the Vermintide wiki. Just go out and find that, and you'll find, I mean, there are so many books that have been written in this universe, but the wiki is actually pretty decent, and I think there are actually 2 different wikis, but there's so much lore to go down if you're into that sort of thing. It's pretty interesting. So, anyway, enough rambling. Completed the first 13 missions, mostly on easy, and that was actually enough for me. So, oh boy, I don't know if I have it in me to get good at this game. Honestly, I think, as I said, I would just be too frustrated trying to wrangle the AI. But anyway, definitely time to end the episode now. That has been Warhammer End Times Vermintide. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next Let's Play.